It's Spoilerin time. This is a show that is birthed by Cordkillers. Cordkillers is a show where we figure out how to watch stuff, then we watch it, we talk about it here. This week, we will be talking about Hannibal, episode 6 of season 2, Invincible, episode 5 of season 1, and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 4 of season 1. I'm Tom Merritt. He's Brian Brushwood.
All right, I have a confession. It's been a week since I last confessed to this. I may have heard a dog barking outside and used that as an excuse to leave the room during The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And then I asked, what did I miss? And the family said nothing. And then I may have heard another dog barking and then left again and then came back and said, what did I miss? And the family said nothing. And then we got to the end and we watched Bad Captain America murder a dude on video. Is there anything I missed?
So you should say 5 are Apple TV Pluses, 6 Hail Rokus, and you'll be fine.
Okay. That sounds like permission. That sounds like you also were not impressed with this episode.
Listen, we're talking about episode 4, season 1 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I'm not going to say that I suddenly, in the middle of watching this episode, realized I was playing solitaire and thought, I should probably be paying attention to the show closer. Zemo's great. I like Zemo.
Yeah,
Zemo's
dude,
fun to watch.
That dude can dance. Also, I guess he hates the serum because he was stomping that serum, man.
Yeah, he missed one, though.
Missed one.
Always got to, when you stomp your serum, make sure you stomp them all.
Or
Captain America will inject
was
one
Zemo
into his
stomping
veins.
the serum an indication that he's a good guy now, or he's again, or just that these are munitions and he wants them to be as scarce and as in his control as possible?
Yeah, I think he's anti-serum, not a good guy.
Right.
Like, he's not anti-serum because that's what's best for the world and it fits into his plans for the world. I get the idea that he's anti-serum because he just thinks that's bad.
Right.
It's bad for him, particularly, and causes trouble. And it's trouble that he would not like to deal with because it's trouble that would get in his way should he ever escape. I did love the bit where he told the little girl that they were evil and don't tell them anything, and then led him a chase. Didn't end up really going anywhere that interesting, but I really did. I enjoyed watching Zemo in this episode. That was good stuff.
I mean, first of all, I wish this Zemo showed up in the movies because this guy's really interesting, and I've enjoyed just about every. I mean, he chews up the scene every time he's on screen. That's the last nice thing I could say about this series.
Isn't it brave that they wrote this episode to not really make a lot of sense with character motivations?
Super brave.
Oh, stop,
super brave.
Stop. That is just unfair.
Okay, yeah, but I just
listen, Bryce. All I'm saying is, if you stomp on the serum, make sure you stomp on them all.
Well, first off, for sure. But I just kept feeling like I don't know what any of these characters are doing. I don't know why our titular characters have so little screen time, and everyone in the show, the villains, the protagonists, the heroes, the anti-heroes, are all tripping over their feet due to incompetence. And I know I'm not giving it a fair shake. People have heard me on this show not be into this show, but boy, howdy.
No, you know what you're doing is you're convincing me to your side. like I'm joining Team Bryce of yeah, no, you're right. None of this makes any sense at all.
So here's my diagnosis, right? You've heard me say many times that when you're not enjoying a story, you start to focus on all the flaws, and every story has them. When you're enjoying a story, you forgive the flaws. When you're not liking a story, you get bugged and annoyed by the flaws. And that's absolutely what's going on. So you can either decide to have a good time by focusing on the flaws and smashing them like serum, which Bryce, I think that's where your head's at. Or you could just try to ignore them and focus on Zemo, which is where my head's at.
Yeah, Zemo is the star of the show, right? Like
right now he is.
Well, actually, Zemo
I kind of
and
liked
fake.
Morgenthau in this episode. I thought the Flag Smasher stuff was better, the best it's been so far. Where I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I kind of get where they're coming from. This is a little more. This is starting to get more interesting. For the first time, the banter was not enough for me. For 2 episodes, I've been like, oh, but we had so little banter in the first one, and now it's fun. Now I'm like, okay, I need a little more. You can't just survive on banter for 2 episodes
Yes.
or three
Also,
episodes.
like, I was the first to roll my eyes at the name Flag Smashers. I've now gotten beyond my own joke. My kids have not, and every time they say that terrible name Flag Smashers, the kids chuckle, and I'm like, guys, would you calm down? Zemo's trying to smash vials of super serum now.
The serum smashers now.
Yeah,
Serum
yeah,
smashers.
exactly. Hey guys, I'll say it out loud. I don't think this is a very good show.
I think it's a fine show for certain people, and none of them are us. Because there are definitely people enjoying it out there,
Yeah.
So I don't want to rain on their parade. Have a ball, if this is your thing, enjoy it. But I'm not hating it at all. I'm having a good time in parts, but I am finding myself drifting sometimes. So it's not really holding my interest the way it should.
It feels a little bit like kind of like what I felt with Tenet a little bit. Like this is a really expensive FX show. This is a really like highly paid show to be on Saturday afternoon, right after The Bridge. Right, my dad will stick around after The Bridge to see
The
what
Magicians.
Well, not even that pointed. This is just like put it in the bin of international action thriller thing and make there be
here's what I want. I want, because there's people in our chat room right now saying I love this show. This is a great show.
Totally great.
Feedback at cordkillers.com or cordkillers@gmail.com. Sorry. Cordkillers@gmail.com. Tell us what you came in wanting and why you're getting it. Because I think that's what's going on is maybe I didn't expect anything, but I'm like, I've seen this kind of show before, and I think that's why I'm drifting, and it's not doing a lot to surprise me. If you are like, I don't care, that's the kind of show I love, it's my favorite kind of show, then maybe that's enough. Or maybe you're like, oh no, I haven't really seen anything like this before, or maybe it's something entirely different. I'm curious.
Yeah, in the chat they're saying it's better than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so it's got that going for it. That's a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bar that serves drinks.
Look.
What did you guys think about the
I don't want to yuck
cameo
on
of the
anyone's
Wakandan
yum.
soldier?
If you're enjoying it, wonderful, great. But it just hasn't. I mean, we're 4 episodes in. There's 2 left.
Yeah.
I don't suspect it's gonna sneak up and give me a tasty hug when I least expect it.
I did like the action in this episode. I felt like between
Decent,
the
yeah.
Wakandan soldiers and then kind of the
Fight scenes were
various
good.
fight scenes. Yeah, I thought that this was an episode where they really leaned into kind of the unique properties of the people within Marvel, so that it's more than punching guys on a truck. Like it seemed like we saw some superpowers this week.
Yeah, and maybe that's enough for folks who are loving it. They're like, yeah, man, I came for that.
Yeah.
That's all I need. I
Yeah.
get that. I get that. That's Falcon and the Winter Soldier, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 4, season 1. Let's talk about Invincible, more superpowers, episode 5 of season 1. That actually hurt.
So good.
We actually see our first time that Mark gets the crap beat out of him at the end.
So good. So good. This show is so good. It's a very good show. My favorite
Tell us
part about
why,
the show
Brian.
is that it's very good. Because you have powers that aren't familiar. Like I suddenly discovered I spent like 10 full minutes today just contemplating that Duplicate's power is just to die a lot. She's really good at dying, and it's one of the most important powers ever. And then, it's like, let's throw you a bad guy that's made of magma. Great. Let's throw you another bad guy that that turns into stone, but is also a good dad, but also is only in it to take over the city. Let's weirdly have whatever the main dude's dad is, fake Superman,
Omni-Man.
Omni-Man. Let's just have him increasingly. It's implied that the whole reason they're messing around with Mark is so that they can crack the secret of how to kill Omni-Man, because what they're not saying between the lines is Omni-Man is ruling the planet and they need to fix that. It's great. I love that robot looks like an old grandma. I love there's nothing I don't love about this show. It's amazing.
It had good twists and turns, right? It would lead you into thinking something was one way, reveal it was another way, and then reveal that even that way was a feint, and that actually Rock Armor guy just wanted to take over, because that's the only way to really secure your daughter's future. There's lots of things like that, and I think the real motivations for Omni-Man are still very shrouded, and I'm very interested in what they are. The fight scene here was also really good. This was an amazing battle where you thought it was going to be one-sided, then you thought it was going to be one-sided the other way, and then the battle swung back and forth to a credible end that was then subverted right toward the end. And yeah, man, what was his name? Beast?
Battle Beast, I believe.
Battle Beast. Woo!
Yeah, he's just like
just
there's no
got
honor
bored.
in squishing bugs.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
I'm out.
Whatevs.
Yeah.
The Monster Girl as a character is just fascinating to me. I mean, she was certainly very messed up by the end, but they've also established that heroic life-saving technologies exist. Was it firmly established that she was dead, or
They made it seem like she was shadier than it appeared to be, and I believe, again, that a lot of the superheroes who have died will come back to life.
yes? Okay.
I do not think you are right
Okay.
about the superheroes that died earlier. There is no indication that would happen. I would be shocked if that happened. And I feel like you're just pulling that out of nowhere. And if it does happen,
my only backup for Tom.
Let me finish.
Okay,
I feel like I will be very disappointed if it does happen, specifically because then you'll get to say you were right, and I still don't think you have any basis for being right. It would just be accidental.
My reason is that, especially in this episode with Monster Girl, they're like, oh, I don't like, it's a loose thread, the idea of like she's being sneaky or not being honest about her powers. I think we saw so much of the original team in the first episode, and character design and animating is so expensive that it would be weird to do all of them for one episode and kill them off.
The characters were already designed in the comic, though.
But
they made a whole thing of like picking up all the corpses and applying like put them in a trash bag if you're not going to be able to save them.
My only counter to that is that all of the Guardians of the Globe were 1-for-1 Justice League members. Like, and it's because of that, I believe they're truly dead. Now, anybody else is fair game to bring back, because those are quote unquote original creations of this intellectual property.
I just think from a writing and narrative structure that it would be cool. It would be really cool if these were completely gone out the window at the time.
And then they all came together up against Omni-Man at the end?
No, I think it would be cool if they just, if I was wrong. I think it would be really cool to just be like, no, they're not. But
here's my prediction.
Yeah.
And again, people who've read the comics are like shaking their heads, laughing at us, whatever, right? They know where this is going, and we haven't read the comics. But I think where it's going to go is all of the bagging and collecting was part of the same reason that they're studying Mark, part of the same cat and mouse game between Cecil and Omni-Man. And so those bodies are being studied. I don't think they're going to come back alive. I think they're being maybe, kept alive for DNA testing. And when I say alive, like, just sort of juice rolling through them so that they don't spoil like meat.
Right. Like stuck on respirators or what have you. Yeah.
I could see something like that, but I don't think they come back as superheroes.
Cecil is increasingly interesting to me.
Yeah. He's
also,
hiding more than we know.
Also, what's his name? Damien Darkblood can't come back fast enough. like he's my favorite character in the entire thing.
I thought we were going to get him back in this episode somehow.
There was a
when
hint
she
of
found
that
the notepad.
at the end of last episode where it's like somebody had the cold breath moment and it's like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah. Because he's not dead. He's just in hell because he was always dead.
That's right. But that means he can, look, he got out of hell once to go solve crimes. He can do it again.
Exactly.
Highest
Do you think
rating.
Mark lives?
Highest, maybe my favorite thing we've watched in 2021.
Does Mark have to change his name now? Because he's not really invincible.
No, he is invincible. That's the whole point of the end of the episode. The
Is
blood
that-
doesn't die.
Yeah,
Well,
that's true.
So wait, invincible means that you don't die?
Yes. It's
What is-
literally
that's
what
all it
being
means?
invincible. Yes.
Yeah.
Like he could be on life support and never move again, and he would still be invincible.
I mean, yes.
I think that feels kind of vinced to me if that were the
Wait,
case.
I mean,
don't
he's.
think that's what's gonna happen.
Super healing's a part of this. You gotta believe. I mean, Brian and I are sharing the exact same looks about this.
Oh, no. This is me taking 2 steps back and watching you two face off. I'm enjoying this.
You think that he is, let's say, mortal or
I think
killable?
Mark getting the crap kicked out of him to where he couldn't defend himself anymore feels like being vinced.
I think you already nailed a good point in that there's a difference between kind of a full and enriched life and maybe being alive on life support for sure.
But he's not going to be on life. He's coming. He's going to
Right.
heal. He's going to come back next week. So
Um,
it's an academic point.
but I like that we keep seeing all of the bounds and both sides of the line of life and death between all of these superheroes. I mean,
that part's really good.
we talked about good action scenes in Falcon and the Winter Soldier this week, but this episode of Invincible, I was like hooting and hollering. These are such great fight scenes.
Yeah.
Like just I mean, brutality, I guess, maybe bloodlust, whatever, but
Might
like,
be over the top for some, sure.
but we don't see that. I mean, we don't see, talk about grim, dark superheroes, but this is actually like gory and violent. I don't know.
It's very, very, very good. It's a very good show.
Good show.
I'm very excited.
And we only have 3 more episodes left of this.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. That is Invincible, episode 5, season 1. Let's talk about Hannibal, season 2, episode 6. This is Futamono, and it really is the face-off between Hannibal and Will Graham. The sort of like moving around to begin round 2 after Will came at Hannibal but didn't kill him.
Yeah, this ultimately, I suppose Will has a success in that he gets what's his name to actually believe just enough
Gideon?
that
Oh, no, the
he's
other guy.
sorry
The orderly.
Jack?
Yeah.
yeah
Oh,
Jack. He gets Jack to believe
Jack.
enough that he actually has the food tested,
Right.
but it all comes back as food. So it's a case where
Non-human.
on the one hand, it's a success for Will in that he actually got Jack to listen, which is something he's never gotten up until this point. Unfortunately, it was a poor chess move and didn't really yield much.
But also
in execution.
They find body materials in the fishing lures on the victim, the tree victim, which sort of points out that there was no copycat killer, and also that Will couldn't have done this. And we kind of all know that Hannibal did this. So why?
I hadn't considered
Why did he do the killing?
why.
Why
killings
put the
and stuff?
fishing lures on there?
Well, we do know that in his own psychotic way, Hannibal really wants to be friends with Will. And maybe this is his way of doing it. And he gets himself an alibi by,
and he does say
sleeping.
he's impressed by Will. He's like, "Oh, that was really good. You almost got me."
Yeah.
It's almost like a mentor when the protege got in a really good hit in training.
Is that a specific reference or?
No, I'm just like,
Oh, okay. Okay.
like a mentor and a protege training to fight.
Got
and
it.
when the
And
protege
you're like,
punches
oh
him
yeah,
in the
you
stomach,
did it. Yeah.
he doesn't get mad that he got punched in the stomach. He's like, oh yeah, good job. You got me. That shows progress.
The end, this scene right here that we're looking at.
Did you recognize her, Anna Klumsky?
I did not.
He was Jack's, the junior agent that Jack had sent to basically die.
Oh my God, she really is still alive,
and she's missing an arm.
Yeah. Oh, I gathered that.
I actually
she's
missed
not
it. It was kind of dark.
Be able to be the chief of staff for Veep. Missing an arm.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I mean, what we're seeing is like, yeah, the whole thing with the Jack testing the food didn't work. But these are seeds, right? I mean, and we saw from the first episode, the beginning of the first episode of the season, that like the tide's gonna turn, right? There's a moment where Jack's like, oh, actually, all of this stuff that Will is saying is correct. And so even these unsuccessful bids, like
what I'm hearing is, regardless of whether or not this worked this time, this was definitely the first episode that it even occurred to me that this series might end with Hannibal being captured, because up until that, I fully assumed he would never ever be caught up until now.
Too good to be caught. Yeah. And so what we have here is Hannibal deflecting suspicion away from Will, Hannibal deflecting suspicion away from himself, Hannibal punishing Gideon. And I guess what this means is he's impressed by Will and wants to help now, but also needs to protect his flank and is throwing Jack off the scent, both by somehow managing to make sure Jack only got non-human food to test, probably through some preparation. Like he told the chefs, like, if anyone wants to go, choose from this side or something like that, right? We don't ever have to know that. And by releasing Miriam Lass so that Jack is now incredibly distracted.
Right. No. His head is not in the game between Will Graham and Hannibal Lecter.
Oh,
the reason they find Miriam Lass is because there was a rare piece of tree bark in the victim, and Hannibal doesn't make those mistakes. He left that on purpose.
Right.
Yeah, I suppose so. I don't know if this was in the show or maybe in maybe a description somewhere, but we asked about like why would he use like the fishing hooks that almost certainly exonerate Will completely. I think the idea is to take credit, right? To say like, congratulations, here's the rubric of the things I can do, the things I'm involved with. Here are all these human remains that I'm involved with. That otherwise were ambiguous or
that's interesting,
implicit at best.
He seems to hate the name Chesapeake Ripper, but if that's the name, then fine. Might as well take all the credit, and might as well let Will off the hook, so to speak,
off the lure.
Yeah,
because we see him buy in heavily to like, I'm gonna be killing a lot. You know what? New page. I'm not helping the FBI. I'm gonna go kill a lot of people.
Yeah,
and he's good at it. We know he's good at it. He knows he's good at it.
Yeah.
And now that there's talk of, oh well, maybe there was a copycat. Maybe this person did both of the court things or what have you. Like he's making it very clear. No, I am responsible for X and Y and Z, and that's by giving you these genetic materials that only someone who was at those crime scenes could have.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got, where it's like, if there's one thing he hates more than the name the Chesapeake Ripper, it's somebody else taking credit for his work. And he's just like, nope, forget all of you. This is fine. Whatever that pseudonym is, you like, blah, there it is.
Yeah, that is definitely another factor. That's a good point. Man, really, really enjoyed this mystery.
So good.
Yeah, it was good this week.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Same.
All right, that is Hannibal, episode 6, season 2. We will be back next time to talk about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier 105, Invincible 106, and Hannibal 207. We'll spoil you then.
Women Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.